Dragons are the most misunderstood beings anywhere. You know why, my brothers and sisters? Because they are not human. And what is not human cannot be understood. Because yesterday or the day before, I don't remember when, I had a comment from a brother who really had troubles, with what I'm doing outside of my dragon's path. Actually, what I actually do because of my dragon's path, but I want to do it outside of my dragon's path as much as possible. But sometimes I just have to explain where it comes from. Because this brother was actually quite upset for I don't know which reason. Because, I'm an activist. And that is because of my dragon's path. That is because of what my dragon did. And my brother was actually very upset because of what I do. He said, dragons are animal eaters. Dragons are like hunters. Dragons are. I said, of course they are. When they were on Earth, they had to survive. When the dragon was here on Earth, he had to survive, or she has to survive, just like any one of us. Of course they were, but where they are now, they are not. There is a dragon god, Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl was very much worshipped in Mexico, and he still has temples to this day that you can still visit in Mexico. And Quetzalcoatl was actually, after a while, he was actually upset that he always got sacrifices for him, sacrifices from animals and even humans. And after a while, he said, "Stop! Don't give me that, because that is not yours. When you give me a sacrifice, give me something of yourself." And that is what Muslims also need to understand. Muslims also give a sheep or a goat, I don't remember, to their god. So what is sheep or this goat or whatever, those are animals that are just in pain and in fear. Once you can see this animal is in pain and fear, that is not a sacrifice. That is not something that you give to a god. That is something cruel. That is something that you just don't mind about. You know what a real sacrifice is, my brother or sister? That is a sacrifice of yourself. And that is what Quetzalcoatl actually made me understand, the dragon god of compassion, you can say. And that is also what I'm having on the dragon's path, compassion. And that is what my dragon taught me, compassion. And not only for humans, in fact, humans are the least of them. I had compassion for the animals. Because, my brothers and sisters, you have to understand, my biggest wish in this entire universe is to have that the dragons would return, that I would have my physical hug with the dragon, that I could be with them once more. I would die for my dragon. I would do everything for my dragon. But we know this world is filled with humans. And humans claim this world for themselves. Their entire culture is based on besting nature and besting the animals. That is why their entire culture is also based on animal cruelty and destroying the earth, destroying nature. And I don't want to be a part of that. The dragon, and especially Leviathan, showed me actually what is inside of my heart. He showed me the void, and it could reflect all of my fear and all of my darkness. Sometimes when I close my eyes, I can still feel the suffering of every animal on this world. Sometimes when people eat animals, I can still feel the souls. And that is typically that a draconic Wiccan or someone who follows the dragon's path. That my dragon by my side is actually the one that said, if you don't understand us, you have to, let me teach us who we actually are. Because then in the beginning of my path, once I was knowing my dragon, I was very much confused. I immediately had the thought that dragons are these devourers, the meat eaters, and they were with their large teeth. Everyone was afraid of them. Well, in fact, no, my brothers and sisters. Dragons are beings of compassion. Dragons are beings that are the example for every living being on this earth. That I was actually surprised. That is the reason, for example, why on my dragon altar, it's not only dragons that stands on it. It's also let me see, animals. It's filled with animals, and that is because dragons have a lot of compassion and respect for every being on this earth, not just humans, but every being. That is what humans don't have. Humans don't have this respect for every being on this earth, and that is what I want to be different in. Of course, I'm not telling you how to follow your dragon. Sometimes dragons might even can say, because I never heard that, but sometimes dragons might say, of course you can do that. You can be cruel. You can be like this. But I've been now 10 years without eating animals. And in fact, I would never go back because my eyes are open. My eyes can see now everything. And that is what a lot of people cannot anymore. Once you leave this behind, it's just a different chapter of your path. And that is why I know selfishly, because I have nothing to gain with this, try to help animals. Because I know once the dragon would return, the dragon would be hunted, would be killed, would be used for their meat, will be used for their skin. Because leather, oh my god, the dragon's leather, it will be very much used for humans. Would be in zoos, animal things, to visit. Everyone would pay money for the body of the dragon. And that is something typically human and very disrespectful. That is why I don't want to be part of that. That is why I do not want to be human in this. I must made a vegan because an animal rights activist because of the dragon, because of the compassion, because of Quetzalcoatl, the dragon god, because of what I learned, because I do not misunderstood the dragon. Dragons, that is why they are so misunderstood. Dragon, immediately they think of animals like these wild animals once they see the dragon. But that is not what dragons are. Dragons are much wiser, intelligent, ancient, much more than we are, than humans. I mean, much more that we don't understand what actually dragons are. That is what we need to understand on our dragon's path, what dragons actually are. And that is what I promised my dragon, not only to talk about the dragon to you, my brothers and sisters, but also to be there and to be a guardian for animals and nature as far as I can. Of course, I cannot change the world. I know. I'm just a lonely guy, a lonely man. But that is something what I understood what my dragon actually said. You know, sometimes you need to be the change you want to see in this world. And that is exactly what I'm planning to do.